Fellow patriots and YouTubers, this is Kentucky Regular. I'm a bit disturbed over the last few days, watching a few things and finding out that apparently I'm a Nazi. That's right, I'm a Nazi. According to our SJW, social justice workers out there, I am a Nazi because I, and I'll say so proudly, voted for Donald Trump. I'm well right of that man, but I voted for Donald Trump. Anyone on my side, particularly if you're white and you're on the right side of things, it doesn't matter if you're black and on the right. You're an Uncle Tom or you're still a Nazi if you don't agree with the social justice warriors out there. But what gets me is how these limp-wristed soy boys and girls, it's hard to tell the difference between some of them anymore, but how they can call me a Nazi. I think I'm the furthest thing from a Nazi when you got to consider the Nazis were socialist. Socialist. And I don't care what any modern professor, college-educated beanhead wants to say. They were socialist. The Nazis hated capitalism. Hated it. Yes, they also didn't agree with Marx and were against communism. But it's because socialism and communism are two different animals. Just like socialism is a different animal from capitalism. They despised capitalism. So, on that point, who do you think the Nazi is? Nazis also believe that the citizens work for the government. And the government dictates how they're going to live. But they're going to give them all this free stuff, Bernie. Bernie Sanders, yeah, all this free stuff. How are we going to do it? We're going to tax you to death. There's nothing you can do about it. This all came about. Now this is ironic. Imagine this. This all came about the push for the Nazi German Socialist Workers' Party during the Depression in Germany. When people were desperate, people were poor, and they liked the thought of getting free stuff. That's how the Nazi Party became to thrive, taking advantage of the poor people in their own country. Nazis at the same time are pretty big on gun control. Very large, very big on gun control. I don't think I am. That doesn't fit my bill. I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment. A card-carrying member of the NRA. Yes, still a card-carrying member of the NRA, Guns America, and all that. But I want to keep my guns. Who wants to take them away from me? Who? You bunch of soy boy, sissy, limp-wristed. I'm going to leave that part out. But that makes me a Nazi because I'm against gun control. When the Nazis were, the first thing they did when they got a chance was took all the guns away from everybody. Why? So they could rule with an iron fist. And it worked. Look what happened to the Jews. The Holocaust. And it was real. The Holocaust. A horrible, horrible time in world history. By a ruthless dictator and his fascist regime. That's right, I said they're the fascist. That is a fascist regime. The Nazi Party was a fascist regime. Obviously, as a conservative, call me what you want, right, independent, Tea Party or whatever, I stand with the Jewish people. I stand for them to have a state where they can live in peace and maintain their land, which in my opinion, and I call it a fact, was God-given. It's ordained. Who is it who's siding with Palestine on giving them the land that the Jews have? Who's the anti-Jews out there? Who's anti-Jewish? Who's the anti-Semites? It's you. You bunch of soy boy, sissy, limp-wristed. I'm not going to say it. If you've got the guts to walk up to me on the street and call me a Nazi with your little mask on and your little sticks, you're more than welcome to bring it on. I'll debate you. We'll have an intellectual debate. I had 2 years of college before I left. I got tired. The straw that broke the camel's back was a sociology teacher telling me everything in the world that is wrong right now with the world is because of Christians and Republicans. I once asked that man, if you're so anti-Republican, wasn't Lincoln a Republican who freed the slaves? And it was the Southern Democrats of them that were for slaves? His argument, listen how cogent this is. Well, the Republicans now are like the Democrats were back then. The Democrats now are like the Republicans were back then. Is that as good as you can do? Okay. The point is, I am sick of hearing these little sissies call me a Nazi when they're the Nazis. I think it's very clear and very obvious. This is Kentucky Regular out. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. More to come.